What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Ben Swayze. Welcome to Pack It Up Podcast. Got another special guest for you guys. So this right here is one of our favorite house guests, Barrett's closest friends, and his actual social media handler, Brett. What's going on, Brett?
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
Good, good. Thank you guys. Thank you for making it. I've been doing this series with like close friends and family, so that way the house guests, when they get out, they can see like what their closest people thought about them, and just have a laugh about it. Like, oh, this is what you guys thought. So I'm glad you could make it. So you and Barrett, you handle his social media. I handle, right?
Yes.
How has that been so far?
It's been a mixed bag. There's been a lot of there's been a lot of support. There's been the occasional game
Yeah,
judgment or people saying,
yeah,
oh, he's furniture or he's a rat or he's this or he's not acting within my interest as a viewer and whatever. And then the surprising part has been the alumni. A lot of alumni have reached out and said like, hey, I know that this can be kind of a tricky spot to be in as someone that you love is competing on the show. You don't have
yeah,
access to them, but everyone has access to you, and you're
yeah,
kind of like the complaint department. And so
yeah.
people like Izzy Gleicher from BB25, Kat
Oh wow,
Dunn, Netta from BB Can 2, a lot of people have reached out
that's
to
great.
lend their support and offer to a complete stranger. So that's been
That,
it's been very sweet.
I love that. That's amazing. I didn't even think about that. That like, I'm still thinking about just like crazy fans, love fans.
Uh-huh.
I'm thinking, but I never thought about like past house guests actually reaching out, and I'm pretty sure they do that with a lot of people. That's really cool for them
It,
to
it
do.
I'm one degree of separation from Brittany Haynes now, and that's like the coolest thing that's ever happened.
Really, Barrett is gonna go crazy when he
Oh, he
sees like
is.
all these people reaching out. I know he can't wait for that. That's exciting. So when Barrett got casted for the show, did he let you know kind of like I may be going on it? How did that
Yeah,
go
he
about?
so well for one thing, so Barrett and I do a lot of travel together. We've gone to many different states together. We went to Japan last year, and so I was invited to an old friend's wedding in Wisconsin in July. And I hit Barrett up and I said, hey, I get a +1. We haven't done Wisconsin before. Let's check that state off. And he said, yeah, sure. There's just one thing that might get in the way of that. And so then he kind of clued me in that he was in the casting process at that point.
Right, right, right.
And so, and funny enough, he just brought up that wedding that he didn't go to on the feeds today.
Really
But yeah,
randomly.
yeah. So he let me know that it was like not just that he had applied, but that it was actually going somewhere, which was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
that's awesome. And once he actually did get casted, and he's like, "Look, I need you to handle this," were you just like, "Yeah, absolutely, I got you"? Were you excited? Like, what was the emotions like?
Yeah, I mean, the rest of our friends are functionally illiterate, so like I was
Yeah,
the only option at that point. But yeah, he's definitely like trusted like a few people with like different like functionalities.
yeah,
Our good friend Nick, who's on all his socials as the Nick City, he's taken care of the podcast in Barrett's absence that he
right.
does with his friends, and then
Yeah,
I've taken on the social media component, and I'm on like a text thread like with his mom and his sister, and I'm
that's
keeping
cool.
active with them as well.
Yeah, that's absolutely awesome. And Barrett just, I think that he's doing an amazing job, not only just in the game, but just as a character. I think that he seems very genuine, sweet, and honest. Like if there's something like there, I think it was Haley that I asked him, like, I think I'm gonna put you on the block, and he's like, "Well, I'm not comfortable with that." Like he seems really honest, so I love it. So far, where we're at in the game, how do you think Barrett's been doing? Like, did he have a strategy going into the game that he
You know,
that he let you know?
we didn't talk much about his strategy going in, but I am familiar with sort of like Barrett's style. And I think that because he is a super fan, he understands that the textbook style of playing is you go to sleep for the first 6 weeks and then you start activating. And for
Yeah,
someone like him of his stature, he's a 6'6" man. Like if he's high summing like right off the gate, like it's not going to be good business. And so I think that while the fans have more or less like had their frustrations with him as the token super fan with not being that activated yet. I do think that part of that is indeed by design, just because he knows that the back half is where it's at.
yeah. I totally agree. A game like Big Brother, it's a marathon. It's not a
Hmm.
sprint. It's a long, long, long game. So I think he's doing a great job with that. The icons, right? That they've been like the biggest conversation of this season. Did Do you think that it was smart for Barrett to form with the icons, or do you think it would have been better for him to kind of like get them out and play a different game?
It depends on what he's looking for. If he's looking for TV time, then those icons gotta go. But
Yeah,
we did that was something that we did talk about, not in terms of strategy, but we did hear like in sort of like the ether that there was like I think at one point they were saying it was going to be like a 50-50 kind of fans versus fans
yeah,
kind of thing,
yeah,
which I dreaded because it's like, oh, if we have all these alumni, my friend's not getting any TV time, so I was not excited
yeah.
for that. And so when it ended up being three, and then also Jason as Selena as titties as well. Like
Right,
I'm like,
right,
okay,
right.
this is
Love
this is
Jason.
manageable. It's very like BB-18 style, where
Yeah,
there's enough love to kind of go around. But historically, such is in like series like Big Brother 13, every iteration of having returning players on Survivor or whatever.
right.
I'd say like 90% of the time, it's best to link up with the people who do have that experience because they're more savvy to the production side of things, what you can and can't get away with, essentially.
I know.
And then they're more seasoned when it comes to the using their charisma to kind of get people to do what they want and act within their
Yeah.
interests. So I do think it is smart that he's allied himself. We did talk about like a possible house guest that could be coming back, and we did talk about Angela
Okay.
quite extensively. And so I did know that like, oh,
Really?
yeah, I was like, oh, there's a pretty big chance he does sync up with Angela because he was an Angela fan. He knows that she's volatile, but he also like Barrett traditionally does well with like motherly or grandmotherly types. I think like one of the things that we first bonded on was that we both have. I don't have any. All of my grandparents have passed, but at the time when we met, I still had one remaining, and we both bonded on having a reverence for our grandparents and just that respect
Gotcha.
for the people that came before us. And so I knew that Barrett would likely be very, very respectful and have a reverence for people like Angela, people like
Yeah.
Patrice.
Yeah. I think I did see him say that he was a super fan of Angela as well. Is that a Barrett shirt you have on?
Yeah. Our friend Alex made this. And then
I love it.
I cut the sleeves off because I'm
I'm like,
uncomfortable.
that looks
But yeah,
like Barrett down there. I
yeah,
love.
yeah. So yeah, it's not like for sale or anything, but like it was like
Yeah,
he's a graphic artist and he did like a handful of these through I think like T Bubble or something like one of those companies, and so like his mom
yeah.
has one, and then a handful of our friends have one, but it's nothing like commercial that's
I
happening.
love it. That's super cool. That's super cool. So yeah, but yeah, I knew that he was gonna be a super fan, and Barrett, he's doing quite well with them. He does have alliances with the icons, and of course with FAP for the American people. I think it is, but with Drew,
I love
Melody, and
Fab.
Mallory.
I love Fab.
So the relationship with FAP and the crossovers, because they're two different alliances that came together. Which one would you say that he seems like he's more loyal to?
I think he's ultimately more loyal to D. And so I do think that
Yes.
like some of the comments I see in social media is that they're like, "Oh my god, he's the worst ally ever because he does throw Drew under the bus occasionally or whatever." And I'm
I
like,
know.
"Well, I guess it depends on how you look at it because yeah, he might be like kind of a shit ally to Drew in moments, but he's been killing it at being an ally to D. Well, whether
Yeah.
you like whether you take value in their dynamic or not, like he has not done anything out of line with her. So like, when
Mm.
it comes to like whether he's a good ally or bad ally or whatever, he's kind of killed it in the de-allyship game.
I didn't even think about that. That's so true because I think he gets so much. I don't want to call it hate, but just like he gets attacked about the Drew situation, but he's aligned with D and he's really really loyal to her. I can't think of one time that I've heard him throw her under the bus.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm still trying to figure it out though because like they have long hugs. They Everyone says Barrett smells good. The whole house says Barrett is
Yes,
like,
I do have the because so we did this like stupid little like promo thing because it was this last week was the last opportunity for the time capsule vote. And so we're like,
uh,
okay, he hasn't gotten it yet. Let's do like a little like his mom and his sister and I were chatting about like doing like a dumb little promo. We did like different stuff on different days, and one of the things was that we found the exact product that he uses, which is this like
wow,
amber fragrance oil that you can get on Amazon or whatever. And so we shared that link with like all these people that share proof of voting, and it's just
wow,
like it is so funny though because I do think that that was like part of like the criticism on Twitter because he's like a tall lanky guy, has some hair on him
Harry
that
right here.
people were like, he's musty, I just know he's musty or whatever. And then you got Taylor saying like he smells quite good, and then Haley's randomly saying it, and Chuck's randomly saying it, and it's just like, oh, okay, well I guess
Yeah,
we're
right.
really debunking the funk allegations. It's all firmly in Chuck's area.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Everybody says Barry smells good, and I agree with you. I think that I'm really worried. I'm not too sure if you've been seeing, but Dee is thinking about putting Mallory up
I
and having
know.
her be the target.
Hmm.
So it's going to be really interesting this next week about how Barrett navigates that
Yeah.
and whether or not he tells Mallory or he votes for her to stay.
Uh-huh.
Because I also like their friendship as well. I think
I
him and
do
Mallory,
too.
I could see them outside of the house being friends for a long time.
Yeah, I definitely think they'll be connected.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on Mallory and the FAP alliance?
I really love them. My favorite's honestly Melody. I just think her diary rooms are kind of like top
Yeah, I love
tier,
Melody.
and just like I love a good like I love a good whiner because she doesn't like it's she's not like whining without purpose. Like she has genuine things to complain about as opposed to like Haley, for example.
Yeah.
So I just like kind of like how her brain works and how she expresses herself. But yeah, I really love that combo of
Hmm.
people, and I definitely see that as far as like Barrett's personality is concerned. I
Hmm.
do think that he is more aligned from a personality standpoint. That he fits this group really does gel for him, and is it is a natural fit for like the people that he would hang out in his like day to day. But yeah, it's definitely gonna be. I mean, it was gonna be tricky. Like so, like last week, Barrett almost won that veto, and if he won that veto and saved D, and then Melody went up, then it would have been like, okay, well, that's
Right.
us, I guess, you know. So like, I was really relieved that he didn't win, and then yeah, it's definitely getting the walls are starting to kind of like close in terms of like
Yeah.
he doesn't have that many exterior options to kind of like put his focus towards as far as like a target or as to keep his two alliances from coming at each other. And so I
Yeah.
think in his mind, he's hoping that if it is Mallory who is the replacement nominee and is therefore the target, I think he's hoping that there's like enough of an avalanche of votes on her where he kind of like his contribution to the vote really doesn't matter.
Right.
But I fear as the numbers are getting smaller,
Right.
his vote
Because
is
you got
mattering
remember
more than more.
Drew's on the on the block.
Yeah.
So if there's a situation where it's Drew and Mallory sitting there,
Yeah, he's saying Mallory home.
yeah, I think it's sitting in her home too.
Yeah, I mean, unless like the icons have, they have conniptions like every now and then, and all of a sudden like
Yeah.
Drew's like, the biggest devil
Every
that
day
ever
it changes with
existed.
them.
Yeah,
Every day.
and I do think part of it is that Drew is young. I do think that like he's a what is it, like a 22-year-old kid like
Yeah.
competing on the
Yep.
show, and like regardless of his credibility as like a game player and how like savvy he is, people don't want to like put themselves in a position where they're being like taken to the bank by
Yeah.
a 22-year-old. They just don't.
Yeah. 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 You know what? I didn't even think about that either. Like that, I think that plays a big role in their mental. I hear them say it all the time. Like, I'm not gonna get played by some 22-year-old,
Uh,
and it's like he didn't even do anything. But I love it. So let's do a quick. Since we're bringing up some different people, let's do like a quick run. We're just gonna throw some names out, and you just tell me what you think about these players since the game's been going on. Okay?
okay, let's
And
do it.
let's start with Drew. Let's start with Drew.
Drew's hair is just it's taken on a personality of its own, and I just like I've one of the great things that has come from like managing Barrett's Instagram is that I've made friends with the minder of Drew's Instagram. His name is JT, really lovely person. I've had him over for the eviction, and he because he's local to me, and we've had really good conversations about like kind of going through the same things, and so. And I did joke with JT saying like if Drew if Drew and Bear end up having beef, like, are we just gonna like stop talking to each other? And he's like, "What are you talking about? That's never gonna happen." I'm like, but he's great, yeah. So
That's
Drew,
cool.
his hair is its own like iconography. I think sometimes he gets a little too big for his britches, but overall, I'm
Yeah.
enjoying.
Yeah, absolutely. Jason.
Jason has been so delightful. This was never on the feeds, but Jason reached out to me on Instagram and said like Barrett and I would talk about you all the time, and I'm like, okay, well, thanks to whoever is in charge of the feeds cameras because that didn't that didn't come up once. But yeah, so we've had Jason and I were both in LA County. We're both like gay men in our mid 30s, and so we've had some really good chats about Barrett and about like sort of like the nature of the game in general. He's been so
Yeah,
lovely. Of course he was messy. Of course, he wouldn't
absolutely.
argue that. But I do think I'm excited for the potential of him being like in the top three for America's favorite house guest, and like seeing Kamu's face when he's like, "What?
Yeah,
This guy was third boot. What are you talking about?" He really like became this beloved fixture after being
absolutely.
targeted in that tea party.
I know. Oh my goodness, that was a whole mess. That whole situation. Devins.
Devon's I had to warm up to because I did not love Devon's on Survivor. I trust that Devon's is like a really he's a fun person. He seems like an amazing husband and father. But I think like like on Survivor 50 he's like doing like a whole musical where he's like clicking his heels and like running
Yeah,
like the water thing around his head, and he's just like he like the way that Rick Devens self produces kind of
yeah,
draws my ire. But I do appreciate his how he operates socially is very, very impressive, and I love
yeah.
how I love how he does his like one-on-ones with people. I think that he had some really good inroads with Taylor that led to him being spared on Lala's nomination list because she was considering it at the time, and his inroads with Taylor really helped that. And so he's
Yeah,
definitely very, very impressive. I want him to produce himself a little less and maybe say no to the people in the diary room.
right.
Everything is so
Absolutely.
gimmicky.
Who else we haven't named yet? Taylor.
I like Taylor. I think at the beginning I really underestimated Taylor because I didn't really she had like this like strategy about like people in different groups for her like intro press, and I wasn't really following what she was putting down, and I was just like, I don't know about this. And then in the first week she didn't seem all that promising, but over time she has really come into her own and asserted herself, and I think that she's getting to, if she survives this week, and I hope she does, I think that she's getting to at least the top 6.
Yeah, that's really good. I think with the icons now targeting Mallory, I think there's a really high chance, and I think that she can definitely pivot because the game changes so much. It's like, again, like we said earlier, it's a marathon. Things change every day, so we'll see. What are the last ones I want to see? Because we spoke about a few people. No,
Rome. He's been another one that's been like delightful in the DMs. Ashley, Rome, and Jason have all been super cool to like have like little
cool.
like side chats with or whatever. Rome's genuine. Like Rome's a grown up.
Yeah,
Like he,
yeah,
I think he has like I think he has a young heart. But what I really admired about him is he has this desire to protect his friends and to sort of like the
yeah,
people that he cares about. He will go the extra mile for, even to his own detriment. And I just find that so
yeah.
admirable. He seems
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. Holmes, he's hit me up in a DM too, and we've had great conversations like over time. And
Mhm.
he really is a good guy. And people get caught up in the game sometimes, but like these are all people who live regular lives, and the game is it's reality TV, right? Like they can be a totally different person outside of that, but he was a great guy. Switching gears a little bit, who do you think who's someone that Barrett hasn't worked with that you would like to see him work with in the future?
Latrice, it's killing me that Barrett hasn't really worked with Latrice that much. I know that, like, the way that people have been talking about Latrice is that they've kind of like sidelined and diminished her abilities to game,
Mm,
but she is
right.
and that she is sometimes kind of like loose at the lips, but she is so loyal, and I think and she's capable. I got a little misty eyed when she won the wall comp, and I saw
I
that
know. Me
how
too.
they packaged it for TV, because it's just like just the notion that someone of that age can
Hmm.
throw down with like an MMA fighter and come out on top. It's just like that's those are like the moments that we love watching Big Brother, or any kind of reality show, I guess, in general, is someone kind of defying the odds. And so I think that she has this kind of like untapped potential. I think that she needs like a little bit of coaching, that I think Taylor has been giving her a lot of guidance, even though she kind of runs thin with the patience sometimes when it comes to that coaching. But when it comes to Barrett, I do think that he has maybe mismanaged his relationship with Latrice a little bit, because I mean, and maybe I'm just projecting, because like I'm a massive home cook, and so seeing Latrice like make all these meals, I'm like, that's totally who I'd
Yeah,
work with in the house. I would be with her in that kitchen all day every day.
right,
And so like I'm like, okay, well, if I would work with her, Barrett should work with her. But yeah,
right.
I do think that she is sort of this like untapped side character that a lot of people are kind of like fumbling the bag with her because they don't take her seriously as a game player. Like
Yeah,
it was hard to watch Chuck in his like exit stuff talk about how clueless Latrice is, and
yeah.
really diminishing like her abilities, and sort of like insulting her intelligence as well. That was difficult to watch
Mhm.
for me. And so
Absolutely.
I hope that more people start to see value in her because she has it.
Hmm. I love everything that you just said, and I agree. Latrice is a force to be reckoned with. I can absolutely see her going very far in this game still. She won the veto. She took herself off. Like she's playing the game. Like she's doing what she needs to do, and I love it. Who's someone that he is working with now that you think he shouldn't trust as much as he does?
I mean, I would love for him to kind of take his foot off the gas with Dee a little bit for sure. But I mean, I do love their dynamic. But I think in terms of like he has so many chips in Dee's basket, and I want him to be a little
Yeah,
more liberal with sprinkling the chips around to other people in the house. So not faulting his dynamic with Dee, but wanting him to sort of spread the love a bit more. And then Angela's another one where something that we've seen with Angela is that the closer of an ally you are to Angela, the
the
more
more
she's
paranoid.
gonna flip out on you, and it's all gonna go south because she will come up
Yes.
with these things, and so I want him to kind of be like tempered when it comes to dealing with Angela as well.
Absolutely. I agree. Everything you said, I agree with totally. So, if you could speak to Barrett, right? If you could get a phone call and you say, they said, hey, tell Barrett whatever you like to tell him, what's something that you think you would tell Barrett, like right now in the season?
Twitter doesn't exist. Don't log on ever again.
Sure.
But outside of that, I think I would just tell him like, hey, you only have yourself to please. Like this is you are not playing this game for anybody else but
Mm,
yourself. Whether people see that or not is that's in the eye of the beholder. But when
right.
with Barrett competing, I do think that sometimes he puts pressure on himself because he is a super fan and because his mom and him have watched the show together for decades, and there's people like myself and Nick and all of our mutual friends that are really counting on him. But I want him to sort of like take all of us out of the equation and understand that he only needs to do right by himself.
Yeah.
I think he's doing a great job of being himself. I haven't seen him become a different person in this house,
Yeah.
which is very comforting as a viewer to like
That's good.
that there's not that dichotomy of a duality
Yeah.
of personalities. That he's not like turning it on for the cameras or whatever. Yeah, I would just tell him like, hey, like focus on you. You, as long as you are proud of the job you did, everyone else is fine. Everyone is
Yeah.
happy for you. Do your
I
best.
love that.
We love you.
I love that so much. And I think that, like you said, he seems very genuine. When I watch him on TV, I'm like, that's probably exactly how he is outside of the show. Like, I
One
don't
hundred
think he's
percent.
putting on a show for anyone. Like I think he's a little more reserved, but at the same time, like he's oh he it's like a little it's the best of both worlds. He's reserved, but you also see his fun side, his funny side, and everything. So kudos to Barrett and this season. With that being said, as I always do, the last thing I would probably say is, um, I hope that Barrett, when this is all over with, that he does have that support system around him,
Mm-hmm.
because there is people who are very parasocial. There's people who live their lives in this stuff when there's a life outside of it, and I just hope that he sees more of the love rather than the hate, and that's why I wanted people like friends and family to do these kind of things. So I appreciate you a lot for this.
Yeah, of course. I mean, and it is so easy to get caught up in that hate and to focus on it. And I have had days where I've like had to like put the phone down or kind of step away from
Yeah,
it, and because it does get overwhelming, and people do like the vitriol game can get like
yeah, yeah,
insane, and people are like, oh, you think you hate him? Well, I hate him even more, and it becomes like this contest of who can say the most like aggressively terrible thing, and so
yeah,
sometimes I have to step away from it. But then when I think about it, I'm like, oh, well, actually, the quantity of the good stuff is way more than what we're getting in the bad stuff. But the bad stuff, it because it's so heavy, it just like it feels like it takes up more space, I guess, in a way.
yeah.
And I know that he will have that support system. And
That's
we've
good.
talked about when he gets out of the house, because the house is in Studio City. I'm in Long Beach, California, which is maybe like a little over an hour down the road. And so he's not beholden to this, but he did ask me if he could stay with me for like a week or two to like
Yeah,
have some time in LA County and see his friends, because he used to live out here,
yeah,
and just kind of like just chill and decompress out here before he goes back to
yeah.
Texas or to Arkansas.
That's good. That's great. That's great. Brett, again, I thank you so much. You have my number. You can reach out to me whenever. Continue to do a great job with his social media. Do you want the guys to follow your social media as well? Or you want to
Yeah,
just keep
yeah.
that?
If they want, I mean, Barrett's social is on Instagram is at spicy underscore bucket, and there's a second T on bucket, so SPICY underscore BUCKETT. I think I got that right. Maybe I didn't. And then if if you've enjoyed what I've been putting down on Barrett's socials, maybe you'll follow me. My Instagram is Crescent Beam. That's CrescentBeam. And so definitely follow Barrett though, because we've been lately I've been going through like our text threads and kind of like screenshotting things like out of context, and just like it's kind of hilarious. I recent last year I was in New York and I was at a Broadway show, and lo and behold, Frankie Grande and his mom were in the
What?
audience, and so I took a photo and
Yeah.
sent it to Barrett, and he was like, "He's stalking you." And so now that he's on the show, I'm like, okay, I could upload this, and then it's a whole, it's all full circle with Big Brother.
I love it. I love it. Well, you take care. Continue to do a great job. Everybody, make sure you guys follow them. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel. We thank you all, and we'll see you.
All right, thanks so much, Ben.